start my speech in 3, 2, 1. This House is not in line with the absurd motion that would adopt student loan mechanism in Indonesia. The proposition put forth arguments that are in line with fantasy and not within reality. It has been put forth that the student loan mechanism is something that would right away fix everything in the Indonesian education system. Money is what causes students to drop out or even not enroll in universities at all. That is true. But truly, the solution is not to implement such mechanisms to the system. The student loan system of Singapore is no better than the United States. They both do one thing. They lend in the expectation that that money would be repaid back. The proposition would want underprivileged individuals to take on debt which they will have to pay back. Surely that sort of pressure would put stress upon these individuals. Promoting youths to take on debt would be gross lapse in judgment. They are only fresh out of high school. They would not know the full extent of taking on debt. And the promotion that student loans would solve everything in their lives would cause misunderstanding and lapses in judgment. The opposition downplays working before going to universities, when in fact that is the most responsible thing you could do as a fresh graduate. When we spend money we don't have on a piece of paper that won't even guarantee a job which pays well and pay off your debt, we would meet economic ruin. Instead of using money we don't have, we should use money that we do have. And the way to get that money would be by working. The proposition states that the loan mechanism system would create a more educated public, which would imply that the only way to be more educated is through universities. That is absurd. It ignores that jobs could create experience and be more educational than any university could be. And the claim that to get a front desk job you must have a bachelor's degree is dangerously hyperbolic. It is in line with this House that universities do not guarantee success. In the modern era, education is very important, but that should not be to the extent that you take on debt. There are cases in which lives were destroyed because of loans. In Singapore, where this student loan mechanism idea was inspired, their economy is great and it is the most developed country in Southeast Asia. But that success was not planted by student loan mechanisms. Instead, it was through scholarships that produced educated people with bachelor's degree. They would offer scholarships to the brightest minds and have them study abroad and come back to build Singapore. Although that is not the whole reason for Singapore's success, quote-unquote uneducated people, i.e. those who did not have bachelor's degree, also succeeded, not because of universities, but because of their hard work. The opposition presses that their loan mechanism is different from the United States', which they call a failure, because it makes tons of people being in long life debt. But yet, the opposition later claims that that is all well, because you have an exposure towards education rather than none. This would imply that you are not educated if you have not gone to university, and that the proposition is okay with a failed mechanism. The state can benefit also, the proposition claims, by paying taxes, but that is assuming you do get a job after university, which I reiterate is not a guarantee. Opposition offers a solution that do not involve lifelong debts. First, find work that do not require a bachelor's degree or any university degree. Point A, finding work and working creates an environment of no stress due to debt. Point B, when fresh out of school, work creates experience which would be very valuable. Point C, with work, education comes by itself, and we do not have to pay. Instead, we are being paid. Solution number 2, universities through scholarship is more economically responsible. Point A, scholarships are things given to individuals who would like to be exposed to educations without payment. Point B, scholarships are easy to find. There are websites dedicated to this. Point C, scholarships are hard to get, of course, because of competition, but it builds character and strives us to work harder. In conclusion, truly, the opposition disagrees with the proposition of a loan mechanism in Indonesia for its promotion of financial irresponsibility, and the opposition has offered solutions for better ways of getting an education. Hopefully it is considered. Thank you.